Hello, I'm Father Jeffrey Kirby, an alumnus of the Pontifical North American College in Rome, and currently the Vicar of Vocations for the Diocese of Charleston in South Carolina. Welcome to Catholic Courses. When I was a seminarian at the North American College, it was always my pleasure and blessing to give tours to English-speaking pilgrims of the holy places of the Eternal City, in particular to give tours of St. Peter's Square and Basilica. So in this course, I would like to be your guide as we walk through St. Peter's Square and Basilica, and as we explore the splendor and the beauty of this basilica in the square. I'd like to begin by saying, Ecce Roma, behold Rome, behold the Eternal City. Ecce Roma was the ancient greetings of the pilgrims, as oftentimes they would walk by foot to the Eternal City. Seeing the city from a distance, the first glimpse, the first pilgrim would yell, Ecce Roma, there she is, behold Rome. Behold the Eternal City. And we can only imagine the joy that would fill the hearts as these pilgrims would have traveled from great distances in order to see this eternal city. And Rome is the eternal city of myth and of the poets, but she is also the city of Romulus and Remus, eternal because she's the city of Cicero and Virgil, eternal because she's the city of Julius and Augustus Caesar, of Marcus Aurelius, and a vast multitude of many others who have shaped Western civilization. Rome is not a foreign place, as we could recognize names that were just listed. Everyone, each of us, we have a place in this beloved city. Roma is the city of amor. In fact, Roma is just amor backwards. It's the city of love. And this love can be seen in the expressions of the inhabitants. Take a walk down to the Trevi and see the Italians and their love and their expressions of love to one another. But the city of love can also be seen in the history and the transcendence of this city's life. So I say to you, Ecce Roma, behold Rome, behold this eternal city. I also want to say, welcome to the Vatican City, the smallest sovereign country in the world. You could fit 8 Vatican cities in New York's Central Park. Why is this small country so important? Why does this little area of ground have a sovereign status? Why does it have its own military, its own police force? Why does it exchange ambassadors with over 100 countries and have a permanent observer in the United Nations? Why does this country have its own euro and its own stamp? What is so significant about this little country? Why is it so important? Because in this little country, formerly a hill, the Apostle Peter responded to the divine amor, to the divine love. And he laid down his life as a martyr. Now that's a Greek word that means a witness. It's someone who's died for the faith. And St. Peter laid down his life for the Lord Jesus, who was his master and teacher, his friend and companion. On this Vatican hill, St. Peter died for his faith, for his discipleship. He died for the love of the Lord Jesus. With this act of love, we see the city of Romulus become the city of Peter. We see the eternal city of myth and the poets become the eternal city of love and truth. So for 8 episodes, our course will focus on St. Peter's Basilica and Square. This course will seek to explain the call of that divine love to St. Peter the Apostle, to the other Christian martyrs, and to each one of us. The course will explain the gospel message that converted an empire and inspired the building of this magnificent basilica. Our course will present the essential history of the basilica, but it's not a history course. It will present and highlight the artistic masterpieces of this basilica, but it's not a lesson in art appreciation. This course is a representation of the Christian faith in light of the new evangelization. Our course will explain the life-changing truths of the Christian faith that are reflected in this universal house of prayer. In our course, we are all invited to make a spiritual pilgrimage, to go on a small retreat, and to see the truths of our faith taught and presented in a different way through the breathing basilica, a living catechism. So, Ecce Roma. We see the great dome now of this basilica calling us. So let's begin our pilgrimage. In the ancient maps of Rome, there was an elite suburban area, the Regia Fortine Augusta, now considered one of the most sacred places in the world. And why would this little suburban area of this ancient map be considered so sacred? And within this region's 40 acres was a former garden. But now stands this magnificent basilica and square. Why? Why are we here? The vast space of the square and the beauty of the basilica reflects the holiness of this place to all people. In St. Peter's Square and Basilica, we are on holy ground. But why? Why is this holy? And what happened here that makes this area so holy for each of us, for people of goodwill? Because in this small city region, formerly the private gardens of the Roman emperors, is a land consecrated by the papal blood of St. Peter the Apostle and the sacrifices of those other early Christian martyrs. Here in this place, the bones of a simple Galilean fisherman rest, and upon that rock there springs a radical claim of faith. Jesus of Nazareth is the Christ, the Son of the living God. We are called to approach this confession, this radical assertion, and this holy place with great deference. But how? What can we bring to show our deference to this holy place? Now let me tell you, St. Paul, he loved to travel, was a great missionary in the early church. We read in the Acts of the Apostles his extensive adventures, his missions, his encounters, his preaching. We know that St. Paul burned for the love of God and desired to teach all people the saving truths of the gospel. In one of these visits, he decided to go to Athens. And in Athens, there was the Areopagus, which was a place where free citizens could go in order to debate ideas. So St. Paul went, and he decided to be particularly bold, and he preached the Christian message there on the Areopagus on Mars Hill in the city of Athens, the birthplace of ancient philosophy. Now you can imagine the people in first hearing this. Who's this guy? What is he talking about? Why is it that what he's preaching seems so provoking and intriguing to us? Those Athenians, they had some questions. And like those Athenians with St. Paul, each of us, we approach St. Peter's Square with religious questions of our own and with an inquiry into spiritual matters. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? What is love? And where does this life lead? As narrated in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 17, the people who encountered St. Paul on Mars Hill in 1st century AD Athens, they had these spiritual questions. They asked St. Paul, "May we know what this new teaching is which you bring to us? For you bring some strange things to our ears, and we wish to know, therefore, what these things mean." Sound familiar? You see, those spiritual questions, they're also our spiritual questions. We come with all kinds of questions of God and of the church. As people of goodwill, we desire to know the answer to these questions. We have these same questions, since they're the questions of every person's heart. And in each person's heart, there's a desire and a search for God. Where am I going to find the answers? What's going to give me meaning and purpose and value in this life? People of every nation and tongue, they have these questions. In St. Peter's Square, we see this universal questioning. The world is reflected by the spaciousness of the square and by the presence of people from every tribe and from every people. The square of the great basilica welcomes peoples of the whole world and provokes within each of us the spiritual questions of life. The martyrdom of St. Peter presents the Lord's answers to our questions. This place of his martyrdom is our academy where we can encounter the Lord Jesus, hear his answers to our questions, and allow him to teach us the more excellent way of love. This is holy ground. We are in St. Peter's Square.